Superman versus Omni-Man is a pretty popular fight nowadays. But come on now, as soon as you start comparing comic book versions of the characters, it becomes painfully obvious that Omni-Man can't hold a candle to Superman. The big blue Boy Scout would just dominate the fight. So, since that's the case, well, today we're going to try and figure out how many Omni-Mans would it take to even the odds, be able to defeat Superman. Let's get into it. Superman is one of the most powerful beings on Earth and its greatest hero. Born to the House of El, Kal-El is one of the last surviving members of Krypton. It was sent to Earth as a baby. Raised by the Kents in Smallville, Kansas, Superman now uses his incredible strength, speed, flight, and other powers to fight evil and protect the innocent as the ultimate symbol of heroism, truth, and justice. And for starters, well, Superman is obviously ridiculously strong. I mean, he's clearly no stranger to moving and lifting around planets. I mean, he's moved just the Earth almost more times than I can remember. He's pulled the Earth back into orbit along with Green Lantern. He's pulled the Earth again alongside both Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter. He's pulled the moon before and just regularly pulled off planetary level feats. Heck, he's even managed to bench press the whole weight of the Earth for 5 days straight and only barely broke a sweat. Wasn't even tired from it. And that's just crazy. The fact that that is nowhere near his max rep. And that's just everything we can quantify with science. Superman regularly deals in the extreme of extremes when it comes to strength. Like he's lifted an infinite book with infinite pages before. He's helped to pick up the Spectre, who is heavy as all eternity. He's held black holes in the palm of his hands. He's even pushed around a compressed solar system before. He shattered timelines and broken the boundaries of space-time during some of his fights. He's actually even said that concepts like weight or even space-time have lost all their meaning to him. He's pushed apart whole realities before. He shook the whole Phantom Zone, an infinite, limitless, and endless universe, and even said that he could destroy it altogether. Yeah, Superman is ridiculously strong. He's also incredibly, ridiculously tough. Like, what about the time where Hawkman hit Superman with the Claw of Horus, which, according to Hawkman, draws its power from the magnetic core of the Earth, meaning that he was essentially hitting Superman with the planet itself. Or what about the time he was face to face with ancient devices that were causing massive earthquakes all over the world, and Superman was taking them head on, and doing it at the center of the Earth, just to throw a little extra on top. He was doing it standing in an area as hot as the sun and 3 million times more pressure than the Earth's surface. And that's just on the low end of what Superman is capable of surviving. He's been right there when 2 planets collided into each other, Apocalypse and New Genesis, which are much, much, much bigger than the Earth. He's survived supernovas, attacks that could vaporize galaxies, survived universes collapsing. He's even survived 2 Big Bangs, which were described as infinities that were creating both space and time. And then, as if it already wasn't impressive enough that Superman is ridiculously strong and ridiculously tough, he's also very, very fast. I mean, just for starters, Superman can easily go faster than light speed. That's for sure a given. I mean, he's flown from the center of the universe to the Earth in just 60 days. A trip that would take light itself thousands and thousands, probably even hundreds of thousands of years. And he can operate in a fight just as fast too. I mean, even just besides doing stuff like punching Doomsday literally thousands of times in seconds, He's able to perceive and move within microseconds and nanoseconds. Superman is very, very fast, and it's well within character for Clark to blitz opponents, using his speed in a fight to completely overwhelm them and land thousands of attacks while dodging all of his opponents. Clark's done it enough times that we can definitely say he'd do it here too. It's in his character. Then of course, there's also Superman's heat vision and his freeze breath, which is always significantly more powerful than people think. I mean, he's been able to pretty easily wreck people with his heat vision before in the past. He's even effectively vaporized Doomsday in his tracks, and that heat vision is constantly compared to the heat and temperature of the sun. Meanwhile, his freeze breath, well, it's allowed him to create essentially hurricanes before and frozen even Darkseid. Basically, Superman has long been one of the strongest heroes in DC Comics, and there's a good reason why he's considered to be the best of the best. He's Superman. So that's kind of a baseline for how powerful Superman is. How many Omni-Mans is going to take here? Now, according to Robert Kirkman, the creator of Invincible, just one. He's out there talking about how Invincible and Omni-Man and other Viltrumites are able to beat up guys like Superman, Hulk, and Thanos. But come on now, that's not true. It can't be true. But even still, Omni-Man is seriously powerful. Like, seriously powerful, especially for the Invincible universe. He's massively strong, incredibly fast, and ridiculously tough. Like, Nolan has even shown off a few multi-continental to even planetary feats for himself. He's resisted the pull of a black hole before. His son, Invincible, was able to smash a moon into Mars' surface, which Omni-Man should definitely scale to. Then his best feat, obviously, helping to three-shot the entire planet of Viltrum, which is bigger and heavier than Earth. Nolan is also ridiculously fast. The best that we've seen from Omni-Man is being able to fly across galaxy clusters, possibly even reaching up to billions of times the speed of light. It's been said before that his travel speed and combat speed is supposedly the exact same. So yeah, Omni-Man is stupid fast. He's also very, very tough. Tough enough to survive planetary destruction, and while all Viltrumites are kind of famous for fighting through fatal injuries, Omni-Man seems to take it to another level. But at the end of the day, Omni-Man tops out at just planetary. That's literally the highest that you can scale him. And even that is kinda debatable. Because remember, there are a lot of caveats that go in with this feat. Like, it took two other Viltrumites to do it, and Space Racer had to shoot the planet with his gun in order to destabilize the core, or else they wouldn't have been able to do it and might have been killed in the process. But even planet level threats are really nothing compared to Superman. But I guess it does depend on what version of Superman you're talking about. Peak Superman at his best, or the more average Superman. Like, as for an average Superman, if you were just to pick up any random issue of Superman and see how powerful he was inside, you could argue that like 10 Omni-Man would be enough to beat him in the fight. Maybe you want to say the number is a bit bigger, like 20 or so, but it could happen. Superman is regularly getting knocked around by people weaker than Omni-Man. Remember, he should be small planetary, helping to destroy a planet that's 2 or 3 times bigger than the Earth. And I'd actually argue that Omni-Man is more powerful than the average Kryptonian, seeing again as how he's helped to destroy that planet, and his son Invincible is throwing large moons just as easily. And because I could see a comic written where 10, 20, 30 Kryptonians are able to gang up on Superman and beat him down in a fight, well, I'd say the same number of Omni-Men could do it too. But that's not a fun answer, that's just like the realistic one if you're writing a comic book. What about peak Superman? Well, if we're talking peak Superman, Superman at his best, well, you can actually argue an infinite amount of Omni-Men. It's not even just how powerful Superman is in comparison to Omni-Man, but almost just how wonky Viltrumite's durability is. Because while Omni-Man is tough enough to take point-blank nuclear bombs and even survive point-blank planetary destruction, pretty well documented that as soon as Viltrumites run into something tougher than themselves, well, they kind of shatter on impact. This actually happens quite a few times, and it happens to Omni-Man. Viltrumites just explode upon impact when they hit them. It's weird, doesn't actually make a ton of sense, and the best argument for it, I guess, is that they're going all out in full speed with every attack. But still, weird. Either way, it should presumably work the same way here. And considering that Superman at his best is tough enough to survive big bangs and universes collapsing, I'm gonna say he's tough enough to just stand there and let the Viltrumites splatter against him. It really is as simple as a universe level power. At the very least, you can easily scale Superman up to multi galaxy. He's going up against planet level beings at the very best. And all those planet level beings have a tendency to explode when they run into something stronger than them. And seeing as how strong Superman is, with strength surpassing the very concept of weight, and how fast he is, with speed surpassing the concepts of space and time, he's just on an entire different tier than any number of Omni-Men. There's actually a good argument that the gap between Omni-Man and the other invincible top tiers, and then normal people, is actually significantly smaller than the gap between Superman and any Viltrumite. Basically, Omni-Man would be as helpless against Superman as you or I would be against Omni-Man. I mean, realistically, Superman isn't beating an infinite number of characters, but he's beating so many of them that Clark getting tired or even bored is actually way more of a factor than the Omni-Men themselves. So, billions or trillions of them at the least. Yes, Superman is really that powerful.